I want to go across to Yashwant Deshmukh first, HC voter, to try and explain, as I welcome Karuna Nandi, senior advocate at the Supreme Court, on this broadcast as well. So welcome to all our guests. Let me go across to Yashwant Deshmukh first. Yashwant, can you explain to our viewers how big this sample is, how this was calculated? Because what your poll is throwing up is that 67% of the total respondents in your survey seem to be on the side of the respondents. That's a political headache, given that this is a BJP MP that you're talking about from Uttar Pradesh, because almost 7 out of 10 respondents seem to be siding with the women wrestlers.
Well, that's the wonderful part of this entire, panel study, that we know precisely where the voters have been voting and whom they have been supporting so far, and that's how we know from the cross tabulation where their sentiments are rooted. And honestly speaking, it's hardly surprising for me. I felt all along that probably people are not going to look at it much in a very political way. They are going to get affected by in a much more emotional way, and that is pretty much evident. Yes, the opposition votes are probably more inclined for the responses on the negative scale, but even the NDA voters have more or less said that, this is something which is not going well. This is something which they don't think that has been handled properly, and they don't approve of, and they wish that some justice is done, and not just done, it's seen as well. And this saying not just from the fact that they are looking at the allegations, they are also saying that, even if the allegations are false, and even if the justice is taken through in that way, in the right manner, at least the process should have been done proper. And that means that Mr. Brij Bhushan Singh probably in the very first stage should have at least stepped down from his post and said that, okay, let the law take its due course, and if I am proven without charges, then I will come back at my post, and if not, then let the law take its course.
Karuna Nandi, now this is a double headache for the government, because not just are they losing the support of those who don't vote for the NDA, naturally the opposition vote not with them, a very high percentage of NDA voters are also backing the wrestlers, and especially amongst the women voters who backed the BJP government very resoundingly in recent elections. There seems to be a sense of discomfort, and while this issue is being looked at from a legal perspective in the court of public opinion, somehow the narrative seems to be on the side of the women wrestlers. Karuna.
I must first congratulate Mr. Deshmukh for actually dividing up the poll between NDA voters and non-NDA voters in a world that has become extremely polarized. So that, I think, is a very relevant division. However, and I understand what this show is about, justice is not a popularity contest. In this case, however, we see that no less than Olympians who have won medals for this country in spite of all the challenges that they face, have come, and they are taking steps like saying they will be forced to give up their medals and put them in the Ganga. Now, in a case like this where a number of wrestlers have come and they have made, and the facts that have been alleged in the FIR are similar. The way in which, and it's essential to the case, so I think it's essential for us also to start using specific language, because if they can suffer it, we can speak about it. There are allegations that Mr. Brij Bhushan has placed his hand repeatedly on their breasts, on their stomach, repeatedly on these various wrestlers, including a child, a minor under POCSO, and these kinds of allegations merit an FIR immediately under the law. Immediately. So the fact that they had to go on a protest, and for so long they sat, and with huge public support, and even then the FIR was not registered, contrary to law, contrary to 5 judges in the Supreme Court in Lalita Kumari, contrary to section 166A, which says that any police official that fails to do this can have proceedings and an FIR against them. What does this tell us? And then we see visuals of the same police that failed to register the FIRs, dragging these women through the mud and their supporters, their necks on their throats, the kind of brutality that is not necessary by any means. So frankly, I think that does it take this level of injustice to cut across both sides of the political spectrum? I'm glad it has. But frankly, every single case of sexual assault, which inevitably is against a powerful person, a relatively powerful person, not this kind of imbalance, but a relatively powerful person, should cut across in this sense.